Shalom, Israel. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWAHSHI, BAHASHAM, Rakah, Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders who teach and rule well at Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the prophets, the hopeful elect, the 144,000, and to the men and women of the 12 lost tribes of Israel, you so-called Negros, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Shalom. Back with another lesson. I'm going to title this one, The Lord's Chosen People, which the Lord's chosen people are the so-called Negroes, the ones who they call black, today in this time in 2022, the ones that they call the niggers, the ones that have been completely humiliated right here in America, and falsely accused and gunned down and put in slavery. The Latinos, you know, uh, the same ones that are, you know, called spick and, working for crumbs, out there in the so-called white man's field, and the Native American Indians that are out there on those reservations, you see. And I'm going to title this the Lord's Chosen People, and that is the Lord's chosen people. And Israel, the Lord's chosen people, the Hebrew Israelites. You have the northern tribe, and then you have the southern tribe. The southern tribe represents the Negroes, you see. And then you have the northern tribe that represents, the Aztec and Mayans, the Native American, that the northern tribe. That's the northern tribe. You see, those are Israelites. Those are Hebrew Israelites. Now, you do have Hebrew Israelites that are scattered into other nations, and they look like the other nations. You see, you have Hebrew Israelites. I'll just use the example. Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee. Is he an Israelite? We don't know. But for an example, he could be an Israelite according to the spirit that you have. And ultimately, does your spirit bear witness with this book, this Bible, with this truth? You see? And Israel is they're very talented, in all areas. It doesn't matter what Israel put, whatever it is, Israel puts their hand in, and they make it look outstanding. You go today right here in the Americas with the tribe, with the good majority of bulk of the tribes here right here in America, because America, if you look around, despite what they got going on here and how corrupt it is, we know who's at the top running this. It ain't you Negroes, it ain't you Latinos and Native American Indians. You're not running America. You're not dictating the policy or controlling the government, and your face is not on that money. It's not. You don't control the education system. You don't control the jail system and prison system. You don't. These so-called Caucasian white people, they control all that because they're in power and they're in rulership. You see? They're in rulership. Now, like I said, you have amongst the other nations, there are Hebrew Israelites, and they look just like the other nations. They look like just like a Moabite, which is Chinese, or an Elamite, which would be an Arabic person. Even Esau. You see, you have different celebrities and even government workers that they look white, or they look Chinese, or they look Japanese or Arabic, but if you do more research into their life and see what their father is, their grandfather, and then you're like, oh, I thought that was I thought that was you were Chinese, or I thought you were Indian, East Indian, or Afghanistanian, or from another nation. You see? And if you, like I said, you look around the world and celebrities and different politics and different people, you'll be surprised on what these people with their parents, their grandparents, their grandfathers, because it's based on your father, what your father is. Because the men carry the seed. They carry the seed, they plant the seed, and that's what it is. The women don't carry the seed. See? And it tells you that, quote me if I'm wrong, and I think, what is it? It's either Leviticus or Numbers, I think. Quote me if I'm wrong, what the Lord is saying, according to your fathers. It could be Exodus. Quote me if I'm wrong. But it's the spirit. Esau has made it about color. You see, Esau has made it about color. Those are black people. Those are brown people. They made it like that, man. See? But, these are all, these are part of the curses, man. And the Lord told, he told Israel, I'm going to put these curses on you, and they're going to be for a sign and for wonder. You see, that you are the people, man. And yes, Israel is, the Hebrew Israelites are a people of color. They're a people of color. Like I said, now there are some other, Israelites out there scattered amongst the nation, because the Lord told us he told Israel he was going to scatter us into all nations from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth. So that means in all the world, there's Israelites scattered, and they do look like the other nations. They're not just all dark-skinned Israelites. Yeah, there could be amongst the small hats, the ones over there in Israel, the Amalekites that are claiming to be Jews. Yes, there can be Israelites, and there are among them in that land. Now, all of them? No, that's not. They're Edomites over there. But there's a very, very small percentage of Israelites that's probably gathered over there that are among Amalek, that are really Israelites. You see? And then over there in China and Japan and Asia and Africa, amongst the Hamites, and all over. But a good majority of the Hebrew Israelites are right here in the Americas. Without a question, America is the most influential place in the world, without a question. Why? Because the tribes are here. The tribes. without a question. All your businesses and entertainment and you know movies and all the different fashions and stuff, that's right here in the Americas, and that's Jake. Jake is the one who's because the Lord told you Jacob is the salt of the earth. And what do you need with your food? For because the Lord speaks in metaphors, in these dark parables and dark sayings. And not everybody's able to get this. This is why this thing is spiritual, man. This thing is spiritual. And like he said, Jake is the salt of the earth. Flavor. They all want to be like Jake, man. The other nations, they watch Jake. And that's why even Esau, they know the different Jakes, they get them, stronger, faster, it's definitely an entertainment. You go get Jake. You have to go get Jake. Without a question. You have to go get them because they're extraordinary. Extraordinary people. Talented. And the Lord tells you in the book. I've been ramping on long enough. I'm just going to go into a few scriptures real quick. We're going to go to Deuteronomy. I don't want to make this too long. We're going to go to Deuteronomy. We're going to go to Deuteronomy 28 and 1. And it reads, Deuteronomy 28 and 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of YAHAWAH thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, still today, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. See? And the Lord is laying it out. The Lord is laying it out. You see? Because why? Let me read it again for you. It says, and this shall, Deuteronomy 28:1, and it reads, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of YAHAWAH thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Okay, so this is what he's saying. See, he made a promise and a covenant to who? So let's go to Psalm. He made a promise to Jacob, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And it goes back to the Adamites, to Adam, and then through down to Noah, and then Shem, and then with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, you see, that seed line, that's the chosen line. So let's go to Psalm. The Lord's not dealing with everybody, man. And this is what the world can't understand. They cannot understand this, man. The Lord's not dealing with everybody. You got all these different nations and heathens and stuff. They're coming in and they're bringing in the ways of the world and philosophies of man. You know, these different, uh, uh, um, you know, they're setting up their own days. You know, they're not going off the Bible, what the Lord wrote, and you know, and as far as the holy days and celebrating the holy days and doing thus said the Lord, they're not doing it. The other nations, Esau, Edom, the Amalekites, you know, the Moabites, these other nations, you're not serving Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. You're not serving the God of Israel. You're not doing it. You're not doing it. The Lord set up these law, statutes, and commandments to the Hebrew Israelites. That's it. That's who he's dealing with. That's who he's dealing with. You other nations, this ain't for you. This ain't for you. He didn't give you these law, statutes, and commandments. Now, when we get to the kingdom, and if you want to, you know, you other nations, you want to rehearse and do thus said the Lord. Yeah, that's fine. But you're gonna, to get the truth, you have to go through Israel. You have to go through these Hebrew Israelites to get the truth. You're not going to be able to go to these other nations and get the truth. Because you see right now, it's total mass confusion right now in the world. You know, you got people, you know, they have their own truth and their own name of the Lord. You know, they're going in their own customs. You know, they're not doing the law, statutes, and commandments. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. We know Esau's not doing it. Amalek and them, they're not doing it. They're not doing it. And these Esau is in rulership, you know, and he's not doing the laws. He's not keeping he has the power to do to keep the law, statutes, and, you know, the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, but he's not doing that. He's not. And that's why this place, America, and these other nations are going to be destroyed. America is going to be wiped off the face of the earth because this place is given into the hands of the wicked. The Lord told you in Job, was that chapter 9? He told you the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Who is in control of this earth right now? Who's in control of, you know, society and you know, living conditions and stuff? Who? We all know the Lord. You know, he's the ruler, but he's been given power unto a certain nation to run the earth. And we see what's going on right now. That nation is Esau, Edom, and they're running this place into the ground because they are the wicked and they've told lies over and over. They've lied. But like I said, like the Lord said, you know, he would put Israel above all nations of the earth. And we're going to go to Psalm 147 and 19. Psalm 147 19, and it reads, He showeth his word unto Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons. 12 sons. That makes and consists of the 12 lost tribes of Israel, which are you so-called Negros, Latinos, and Native American Indians, the northern tribe and the southern tribe. And there are amongst other nations that look like the other nations that are Israelites. Now, all the nations? No, they're into all nations. There are some Israelites scattered into those nations. You see? It says, He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes, and his judgments unto Israel. He's not dealing with no other nations, man. He's not dealing with no other nations except Israel. That's who is going to rule in this coming, in the second return of the Lord, when he sets up his kingdom. You see, those Amalekites over there, these Edomites, overall Edomites that are in rulership right now, they're not going to rule. This is it. We see what the world is in right. This the mind state and what the world is in right now. The people are anguishing. They're mourning. They're suffering. The famine, the plagues, the pestilence. There's war. There's no justice here for Jake in this place. We've seen it over and over and over in America and across the world. There is no justice, none. And we've been castrated, we've been hated. We're on the bottom, the first to get fired, the last to get hired. It says 20, he hath not dealt so with any nation. The Lord said he hasn't dealt with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahawah. You see? The Lord's he's not dealing with you other nations, man. This is about Israel. This Bible, it bears with the tribe's spirit. This isn't one tribe. They got the tribe over there in Israel, them Amalekites, who they're calling themselves the Jews, the real people of the Bible. It isn't just one tribe, it's 12 lost tribes. And they're over there the Edomites, they're controlling the land of Israel. And there's no peace in that land. How that can't be the kingdom. That cannot be the kingdom. This is this is one big giant lie that those Edomites have set up over there. There's no peace in that land. There's none. There's just no way that could be the kingdom over there. There's no way. Because you know why? Because the Lord told you he was going to war with Amalek from generation to generation, man. Because all these nations have tried to destroy Jake, man. They've all tried to destroy Israel. But Israel went off. You see? Let me give Isaiah real quick. Israel went off. I'm going to get a few more and close out. Like I said, I don't want to make this too long. Let's go to Isaiah. We're going to go to Isaiah 40. We're going to go to Isaiah 40 and 15, and it reads, behold, the nation are as a drop of a bucket. You see, the Lord said the nations are as a drop of a bucket and are counted as the small dust of the balance. It's just like when you, on the scale, you take the scale out or whatever the scale is, and you go in there into the store or something, and you try to weigh some fruit or some produce or something, and you put it on the scale, and it got like a little dust, and that's what the nations are to the Lord. You see, and the world can't understand this. They can't understand it because the Lord's not dealing with them. The Lord's dealing with the elect of Israel, man. The elect. It says, behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. It says, I'm going to hop down to 17. It reads, all nations before him are as nothing. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity, because that's what all these nations do, man. It's all vanity. Everything that they done created and put forth, man. It isn't holiness. It's vanity. You over there in that land of Israel Amalek. They're throwing gay parades in that land over there in the so-called Holy Land. They're letting that go on. That's Esau over there controlling that. You're in the Holy Land. You're having gay parades over there. This is why the Lord said, you're out of here, man. This is why the Lord said he's going to destroy these nations, man, because he didn't give the law, statutes, and commandments to them. And ultimately what they've done to Jake, man. But I'm going to close out on matter of fact, let me go here real quick. Let's go to Exodus. The Lord made a promise with Jake, man, but Jake went off. Our forefathers went off, man. And that's the Lord judges by nations and your fathers. Esau's forefathers, you see what they've done all through history pretty much. You know, with going back to the Christopher Columbus and the Bogiers, and fast forwarding all the way through the 17, 18, 1900s, all the way to today, July in 2022. You see, Esau he's raped, robbed, and murdered all through, and to get on top, just like the Lord said he would do. He got that spirit of Cain on him. And they've been marked with leprosy, man. Esau, Edom, these so-called Caucasian white people. You know, and these are the words of the Lord. Let me go to Exodus. What was I going to get? Exodus. Exodus. What was it? Here we go. Exodus 32:13. Exodus 32:13, and it reads, remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, thy servant, to whom, let me go back. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel. Israel's Jacob. The Lord changed his name. Thy servants, to whom thou swarest by thine own self, and saidest unto them, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and all this land that I have spoken of will I give unto your seed, and they shall inherit it forever. How long is forever? How long is forever? You see, this is the promise that's been given. The promise wasn't to Esau, Edom, and to these other nations. The promise wasn't given unto them. Now let's go to the curses, and I'm gonna cut it short. I'm gonna wrap it up due to time consumed. And these are the curses that the Lord has put on. Like I told you earlier, Deuteronomy. The Lord said, if you listen and do thus said the Lord, I'll put you above all nations of the earth. Above all nations. He's made that clear already in these scriptures that I've read already. He's above all the nations, above the nations. He's not dealing with the other nations. He's dealing with one nation, and that's the nation of Israel. You see, the 12 lost tribes of Israel, Jerusalem, Zion, which are you so-called Negros, Latinos, and Native American Indians. So let's go over to Deuteronomy 28, and we'll go to 15. And it reads, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahawah thy God, to observe to do all his commandments, to do all his commandments, and his statutes which I command thee this day, today, 2022, July 2022, this day, that all these curses that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. See, and that's what's been happening to Jake. These curses didn't overtook Jake. It says 16, cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. You see, don't matter where you are. You are cursed, Jake, until the Lord come back and restores the real, true 12 lost tribes of Israel, his people, back into the Holy Land. Then that's when these curses are going to come off. 17, curse shall be thy basket and thy store. So that means your businesses, you know, whatever that you're putting your hand in and trying to build, the Lord he's gonna put it's cursed. You see. Let me go over to it says, we'll stay in Deuteronomy. I'm gonna read a couple more and close out. It says, thou 41, Deuteronomy 28:41. Thou shalt begat sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. You see, and Jake don't get to, just like Esau and these other nations travel the average. Jake, Jake, mom and dad, been trying to maintain and work and slave at that company that they didn't work for barely to make a living. Struggle to get their credit up, struggle to, get a new car. They get a new car, you can't drive it, don't touch it, don't, you got to get your own. These other nations and Esau and them, they got big businesses going on. They get a new car, and they parents, they sons and daughters ask them to drive their new 2021 or 22 Mercedes Benz to Harry's house, or Emily. It's no problem. Oh, go ahead, no problem. Yeah, you got gas. You need some money, no problem. They have no problem. You see, it says it says 43, the strangers that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. And that's what's going on too right now. You see who's up. You see who's who's up. Jake, you're on the bottom, man. You're on the bottom in all categories amongst society. The lowest graduation rate, the highest imprisonment. You got the worst jobs. You got the least billionaires. You're going to the worst public schools. Man. It says 44, he shall lend to thee. And who do you have to go to get your jobs? Who do you have to go to get your jobs, your food, your money? You want to get a car, you want to get some clothes, you want to get a home. It says, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the hand, and thou shalt be Salakia. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. It says 45, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of thy God, YAHAWAHSHI, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. 46, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. You see? So these curses ain't going away until the Lord brings us into the kingdom. It says 64. We'll hop over to 64. Deuteronomy 28:64, and it reads, And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there shalt thou serve other gods which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. I'll just close out with this. Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Call Allah Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWAHSHI. And that's what's been happened. You know, Jake has been sold all across the world, and ultimately, you know, we've came off those ships and we're sold right here into the soils of the lands of America. Period. And this is where the bulk of the tribes are, man. This is the second Egypt. He said, I will bring thee again into Egypt, again with ships. Roughly paraphrasing it, I'm going to bring you again on ships into Egypt. The first time we were in slavery, Israel was in slavery, we didn't come to Egypt on ships. So where did those ships go? That was the biggest slave trade amongst the tribes, man. And we were humiliated. Our forefathers were humiliated and killed and tortured on those ships and brought right over here to far. Like he said, I'm bringing from roughly paraphrasing it, a border far from our country. Roughly paraphrasing it. And America is on the other side of the globe from where Israel is, man. You see, a good majority, the bulk of Israelites are right here in America. You see, and I mean, it's not hard to see, but you know, the Lord is dealing with the elect of Israel, man. The Lord's chosen people, you so-called Negros, Latinos, and Native American Indians. We have these curses they're on us. It's then overtook us, just like how the Lord said. You know, and no matter where you go, you try to move out of America, wherever you are, you try to move out of Africa, you know, because there are some Israelites in Africa, you know, and into all nations. It don't matter where you go across the globe. These curses are going to follow you, you see, until the Lord comes back and he restores the real 12 lost tribes of Israel. You Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negros, Latinos, and Native American Indians. You see, he has an elect that he's going to restore back into that land. And that's who he's dealing with, man, out of the tribes. And like he said, I'm setting them in order right before thine eyes. And that's what he's doing right in front of Esau, the devil. You see, that's what he's doing. The Lord is setting Israel in order right now. That's why you have brothers with, you know, garments and, celebrating the high holy days. You know, they stop eating abominable food. They don't celebrate. They don't go in the way of the heathen. You know, the northern and southern tribe is, coming back together, just like Ezekiel 37, the valley of dry bones. He's breathing air into those dry bones. You see, Israel is going to rule forever. This is the last seconds of man's rulership. You see, and those Amalekites over there in that land of Israel, those are not the real people of the Bible. There are some that are scattered in, mingled in with them, that are Israelites. You see, but you know, those are not the people though. You have a few, like the Lord said, I will scatter you amongst all people of the earth, into all nations. So I didn't want to make this too long. But these curses are on Israel, but they're coming off and they're going on to the other nations. And like the Lord said, you know, in these coming days, it's going to be the Egyptian versus the Egyptian, and they shall fight. You see, and that's what the Lord is. The Lord is taking the curses off of Israel, and he's bringing them on these other nations. And Israel is going to rule forever in the kingdom of Jerusalem. Israel forever in righteousness. Israel is going to rule in righteousness. The way Esau is ruling, these so-called Caucasian white folks is ruling the world right now, polluting the water, poisoning the food, tyrannical laws. I mean, please, man, they're out of there. Esau, you're out. You're out. This is it. It's going to be ruled in righteousness, man. So, the Lord's chosen people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, into the scattered, flock that's into the other nations that look like the other nations too, that are mingled upon them. That's Israel, man. So, I just wanted to go in on that, touching, Spirit hopped on me, touch on that. Hopefully you were edified. I don't want Ratazah come back with another lesson, but I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWAHSHI, BAHASHAM, Rakah, Kwadash. Shalom, Israel.